Hello, everyone. Good morning. It's Edna Keep here, and we're live for our free Coaching Fridays. And I'm very excited to share some new news with you. I am heading out next weekend to a mindset retreat. It is the first time I've spent a whole weekend entirely on mindset. So I'm very excited to do that. I'm going to come back and share what I learned about it too, because I think that mindset is very, very key to what you're trying to do in real estate. There's always challenges. Actually, in life, there's always challenges coming up. And if we have to learn how to handle them. And mindset's the biggest thing. And if you want to grow to be a big real estate investor or even just a better person, you have to study mindset. And one of the things that I like to remind people is your mindset is going to need adjusting every growth spurt you go through. So mindset training should be something that we always continually do. And I'm a big believer in mindset training, and I have been doing it for years and years. But when I started following this new lady, her name is Fabienne, and she told me that she spent over $300,000 on mindset training. And when she told me that, I knew that I had to learn what she learned, because I haven't spent $300,000. I've spent that much on real estate training, and some of it's been mindset training, because it seems to be that there's always some mindset training on any course that I take. Absolutely. And I know in my courses, I hound on it a lot, because if you don't get your mindset in the right place, it's not easy to move forward. The biggest thing is getting over limiting beliefs, beliefs that I can or I can't, because if you think you can't, you're right, and if you think you can, you're right. So anyway, I'm really interested in this course, and one really exciting part of it is I have. Let me count here. Audrey, John Corney. I have 7 mastermind members joining me. So we're gonna see huge growth next year. You watch us. It's so exciting to know that first of all, that I'm gonna learn it firsthand and share it with you. But so exciting to have that many team members that decided to join me, because it's exciting. So if there's going to be a lot of knowledge shared. So I see a few people joining on here, so that's wonderful. I'm just going to say hi to everyone. Hi, Chandel. Hi, Chris. Hi, Tracy. Who else do we have? Hi, Kurt. Hi, Tyler. Hey, Tyler. Hey, I just want to do a big shout out to Tyler. Tyler just put an offer on a building and got it accepted, and they were out meeting with an investor last night, and it sounds like they've got some interesting news for me. I absolutely can't wait for that phone call tonight. I get so excited. I get more excited when my students are doing stuff nowadays than when I am. But anyway, I got some questions here from last week from people that weren't able to be on the call. So I'm going to share some of that with you. And one of the things that I'm going to share actually, and this actually came from Fabienne, and she uses it as part of her course, because before I signed up for the Mindset Retreat, I actually bought a course from her, which is some of her prior retreats, and I've already listened to about 5 videos, and it was absolutely amazing. It was so good. And one of the things that she brought up and passed on to some of her students that were thinking about taking some of her programs and weren't sure if they could, she wrote up this sheet called 50 ways to afford something right now. And I think this is so powerful, because a lot of people say, I can't afford it. I can't afford it. I can't afford it. And I always think, you know what, if it's something I really want to do, it doesn't matter what, I'll afford it. Just stuff happens, and I can afford it. So anyway, this is what she says. Most people use the excuse, I can't afford that, for not doing something different and really beneficial in their business or their life. But if you understand that when you ask for something, It's always given to you in the form of an opportunity, not a check in the mail, but an opportunity. You realize you can't afford that thing. So the way for you to afford something is already in your life, something you haven't actioned yet. So instead of saying, I can't afford that, change your mindset to, how can I afford that? And your mind will immediately shift to finding solutions that already exist. Isn't that cool? So then, and if anybody wants access to this sheet, just type it in there, and I know Chandel will post it, and you can write this out. It says, please write down 50 different ways. Yes, 50, not 16 or 46, but 50 ways you can make money right now in your business. An opportunity you haven't said yes to yet, or in your personal life, house sitting, cooking classes, etc. Nothing is too crazy or far-fetched to write down. This is a mind-stretching exercise to help you get more creative about finding solutions. You'll then take action on the best 6 or 9. If you stop short of 50, keep going until you do. Hint, the universe will fill in the rest. So I'm at 39, and I started this the day before yesterday. So you don't have to do it all in one day, just do it. And it'll be interesting to hear what some of you come up with, and where you can start taking that, where you can use that and afford something that you've been wanting to do for a long time. Okay, so anyway, that was good. Thanks for pointing that out to me, Chandel. It was something I wanted to share. So, okay, so this is a question from last week, and I'll just share it from you. And it says, I closed on a flip house a little over a month ago. At about the same exact time, the house right next door had every one of their windows and doors boarded up with plywood. As it turns out, the neighbor vacated the house over 6 years ago. I called him and asked him about the situation, and he was surprisingly welcome to the conversation. He told me the city had told him he had to do it, or they would have done it and charged him for it. So he drove in one weekend, did it himself, and in doing so, single-handedly brought down the value of the neighborhood by a good 20%, if not more. My flip is definitely not going to sell right now. Any suggestions? Yes, you know what my number one suggestion would be? Talk to this fellow and see if he'd be interested in selling you his house. You know what? He's if he hasn't lived there in 6 years, there's a very good chance that he'd like to sell it, and a very good chance that you could get a really good deal on it, and you'd have a twofer. You know, and if you can't purchase it yourself, like, I mean, have the conversation, maybe you can negotiate them down, and then maybe you can wholesale it. There's, put up a sign right at yours that you're looking to sell it. Good one, Anthony. You caught on to that already. Yeah, buy the house. I think that's a great thing to do. So I'd really be curious how that works out for you. So check back and let me know. Okay, next question. Now, feel free, you guys, if you have any questions on here, please ask them, because I'm here for you too. These are some that were from last week that didn't get done, so it's a good place to start. Next question. How do you price a vacant or highly vacant multifamily? There are little or no rents being collected, so factoring the cost makes for negative cash flow. That's a really good question, because right now in our particular area, we're higher vacancy than we've ever been since we've been involved in real estate. So we bought our first purchase in 2007, and our city is growing rapidly. And at one time, there just wasn't enough housing to look after all the new people moving in. So we were able to just get massive rents. And if somebody moved out, we had somebody ready to move in the next day. Now, this is what we're noticing now, though. So the city put out a bunch of notices that we needed these builds. So we had a lot of people come in from all over the place, and they started building new places. So they built houses. Some of our local builders just built a ton of houses. There's apartment buildings, there's condos everywhere. And so we started noticing that as those came up, if in order to keep our tenants, we had to reduce our rents. And I mean, we're still cash flowing, but we have seen higher vacancy rates than ever. So as we're buying, we are also seeing higher vacancy rates. And nobody, when they're giving you their price, nobody factors that in. Nobody will factor in that they're 20% vacant. And but they're still asking for full price. Now, what this means to you as an investor is if you want to buy, you're going to have to pay close to full price. And that's what we found. We've been able to negotiate a bit, but most people aren't interested in selling at a huge discount. And the value of our apartment buildings hasn't went down. Just recently, we made an offer on a 12 unit, and they were asking 118 a door, and we offered 115, and they countered that no, they want full price. And so we're still wondering and thinking about that. Our actual answer back to them was, well, and when they want us to close in a month, well, when you're getting financing on a property, it takes you, especially an apartment building, it takes you longer than a month unless you're a cash buyer. And so we said, okay, well, we're not a cash buyer. So if you still have this property in a month, our same offer is going to stand. And that means we need 60 to 90 days for financing. So we'll see how that goes. But you know what? I believe they had 2 to 4 vacancies. I can't remember. I'd have to double check. Or Logan, if you're on here, maybe you can let us know. But you know what? They're asking a price based on collecting full rent for everything. So some people say to me, well, do I lowball offer? Well, you can try, but generally you're not going to get it. So generally, this is what you want to think. You know what? Know that you're going to have to come in with a higher down payment, 30 to even 40%, because the vacancy rates are higher. And you know what? Even if your particular building isn't higher, the lenders are looking at what the overall average is. So they're going to use the higher vacancy rate anyway. So we have to come up with higher down payments right now. Unfortunate, but if you're going to get in the game, you're going to have to. And you are the one that can work on increasing the occupancy. And don't just leave it up to your property management company, because when stuff like this is happening, you have to be proactive and you have to really move your button. I know in certain areas, some properties are 100% full and next door they're not. So we're actually experiencing some of that. So we're making some changes, seeing what we can do to make it different. But you know what? If you want to get in the game, you might have to absorb that negative cash flow for a while. So sorry for the bad news, but hopefully that doesn't scare you away. Okay, what's next here? Okay. Anthony says, what's your opinion on investing into existing companies versus new companies or even startups? Not real estate, but investing. You know what? To me, it's entirely based on what company it is. So I would look at the numbers that they're producing. And I would look at what the potential is for long term. For example, I wouldn't be buying a Blockbuster video store. But if you're looking at an existing business that has really good numbers now and has the potential to stay there, sometimes what you can do is make an offer to the owner that they stay on for a while and teach you things. And business is a great opportunity as well. We have a couple different businesses. We've looked at a few different businesses. And we tend to stay away from startups because I do figure it's higher risk and I don't have that play money right now. I'd rather get a more solid foundation before I'd worry about any of the play money. Anyway, I hope that answers your question, Anthony. And if you have more on that, please just ask, and I'll go deeper into it. Okay, here's the next question. I'm working on getting educated and analyzing as many deals as I can as I'm trying to nail down which market I want to get into. I'm curious what cash flow requirements you have for your properties in order to pursue the deal. Okay, you know what? Again, another really good question. We like to buy for cash flow. And if we're buying and it's not cash flowing, so say we're buying and it's a higher vacancy, we want to have a plan in place that we can fix that within the first year. So it might be renovating those units and getting them up to snuff so that you're attracting better tenants. It might be just biting the bullet and renting them out at lower rates until you know that it's safe to move the rents up, because right now is not a good time to be moving your rents up. You might have to hold on to it for a while. I don't think it's going to stay there for long, though. I think we're right at the bottom or very close to the bottom, if anything, in Saskatchewan. I don't know if most of you noticed the article that we posted in the Prophet in the Prairies yesterday, but it was about that there's going to be more oil wells drilled in Saskatchewan in 2017 that there is in 2016. Well, you know what? That's going to bring workers, that's going to bring renters, and that's going to increase our occupancy, guaranteed. So you can't wait until everything is working perfectly to buy. Your best bargains to buy is when the market's down. We're not going to stay here forever. The market always moves in cycles. Make sense? Okay, good one. Let's see what my next one is here. Question, hi, just finished reading The Ultimate Buyer's Guide and would like to know what to read next. I'm interested in flipping houses and finding BRRR properties, whatever that is, to hold for a longer investment. I'm thinking about Jay Scott's book on flipping houses, but just wanted to run it by some others first. I'm also considering reading other books like Brandon's No or Low Money Down, since I'm short on capital at the moment. Any advice would be greatly appreciated. You know what? Any books that you can read, I read everything. Even if I think I know everything about rent to owns, if I see a new book come out, and you know what, there is not a ton of new books out on real estate. So when I see a new one come out, I buy it. Ebooks, they're so cheap, and you don't have to read it cover to cover. You can read the parts that interest you, and you know what, it never hurts to get a new perspective. Even if you think you know everything about raising capital, I still buy books about raising capital. I still go on webinars that other people are putting on, and I learn something every single time. And if it's something that I like, I incorporate it into my business right away. So lots of good books that I'd recommend. One is Joint Venture Secrets by Russell Westcott. That's an older book. But it's still very, very, very good. And especially if you need to learn how to raise capital, because it's all about joint venturing with the partners being your capital. So that one's a great one. I'm not a huge advocate of flipping houses. I'm more into building passive income. Everybody's different, though. I think the reason people get into all the excitement about flipping houses is they watch those TV shows and it's like, I'm going to flip this house, make a ton of money. Well, a lot of times it doesn't work out that way. So, if you really, really got to know what you're doing, you got to already understand construction and contractors, or you're going to get ripped off. You're going to, end up in a losing situation. So we understand that side of it. And we know people that have done well on it, but you know what? It is speculation. So we like to buy a long-term buy and hold especially apartment buildings, because you know what? You don't have to buy it at the absolute bottom of the market. You can get an average deal and still make really good money on your investment. So think that way, and know where low money down. Those are great books to read. You can learn a ton from each person. And I also have a course that teaches about capital raising. So if you want to learn more about that, reach out to me, shoot me an email, or put it in the box here. I want to know more, and we'll make sure you get it out to you, because like the quicker you can learn about raising capital, the quicker you're going to be able to build a portfolio. And you don't want to be waiting 3-4 years to build that. You want to be starting now, when the market is in an area where you're still getting good deals. I was listening to a fellow speak the other day who had started investing in real estate in the 80s. And he was saying that, like, he owns properties all across North America, so lots in the US and all through Canada. And he said he's finding his number one opportunities right now in Alberta and Saskatchewan. That's across the US and Canada. He's finding his number one opportunities. Well, you know what, people? Where do we live? Saskatchewan. And you know what? A lot of times we can't see the forest for the trees. We're looking at, oh, unemployment is a little high. Vacancy is a little high. I can't find a deal. You know, stop saying that. Start saying, how can I find a deal? Kind of like that. How can I afford this? How can I find a deal? And start talking to people who are out there doing deals. That's a great way. Come and check out our Profit in the Prairies real estate group that meets the last Wednesday of every month. There are movers and shakers in that group who are doing deals. And just one of my clients yesterday wrote an offer on a $7.8 million deal in Saskatchewan. So how exciting is that? We haven't heard the results yet, but that's so exciting. I see I have some more people joining here. Awesome. We've got Diana. Hi, Diana. Long time no see. Jared. Hi, Jared. Hi, Manoj. Hi, Logan. Welcome. So great, people. Give me some questions. I do have a few more here that came from last week, but I will keep going. Okay, here's another question. I made an offer on a multifamily property. The asking price was $795. However, the tax appraisal is only about $480. So I put an offer in at $550. The property's been listed for almost 2 years. I don't have a real estate agent. I went directly to the selling agent and made the offer. She came back today saying the purchase price needs to be much closer to the asking price. No counter. I thought about waiting a couple days to reply so as not to seem too eager. I'm a little annoyed that they didn't even counter. Now what? Oh, you know what? Again, good question. They might be, you have to analyze the numbers. So you know what? If they won't counter, offer something closer. The thing that a lot of people get scared of is, well, if I get my offer accepted and it's much higher than I want to pay, then I have to finalize the deal. You know what? You don't. On the conditions, you write down based on acceptable financing, inspections, and maybe even approval of my partner. Now, what you do then, and this happens a lot with multifamily, actually, I don't even think you should make an offer unless you've asked to see the financials. You don't need to see the building, you need to see the financials. And when they show you the financials, that'll tell you what kind of shape their building's in. Then from there, you need to know your market area. So you need to know what kind of tenants are going to be attracted to that area, and the demographic, the tenant profile, and what kind of rents you can expect. Because sometimes, you know, and like I said, this is the thing with multifamily. You don't always get an absolute fantastic deal. Sometimes you have to make it a fantastic deal. You know, we've bought properties at the going price, and I always like to go back to our first purchase. We purchased our first apartment building in 2008, late 2008, early 2009, and it was $75,000 a door. And at that time, that's about what they were selling for. And I know that the people who sold to us thought, oh, these newbie investors, they're eager. We're going to get, oh my God, we're going to make a home run. We're going to get the 75,000 a door. We're so happy. And you know what? The numbers on that building didn't work. They were collecting $425 a month on average rent on that building. Well, you know what? We bought it. They were happier than heck to get that price. And in a very short time, we had all the rents increased because we knew that we could. We didn't take them to the top of the market, but we took them pretty high. And you know what? A lot of people that were in the building moved out, and we were expecting that. But that was when vacancy rates were so low that we filled them, and we filled them with higher rents immediately. So we increased the value of that building a lot. And you know what? Nowadays, we can't buy a building for close to that. You know, same age of building, other things we bought in the last few years, we're paying over 110 a door. So you know what? They're not going down. And now if we think back to that building, we should have kept it. We instead got a great brainwave at the time that we were going to condo convert it and sell it out as individual condos, because that was kind of the big thing happening at that time. Now we wish we would have just kept it and just cash flowed it and did maybe a CMHC financing. But yeah, don't worry if they don't counter. We get that all the time. And if you're dealing with multifamily, sometimes you just have to suck it up. Next question. Okay, I've been looking at a multi-unit building, and the seller's asking about $7,000 over what the county website has it assessed at. Comps are near the assessor's value. He seems hell-bent on selling it at that price because he tried to sell it 6 years ago for what he's asking now. I'm not really sure where to start with negotiations. I was thinking of making an offer $10,000 below asking, which would be $3,000 below assessed value. Cash flow and return rate is good even at his asking price. You know what? Like I said, the last one, make the offer anyway. Make the offer at what they're asking. Or slightly below. Most people don't like lowball offers. You might get them the odd time, but it just ticks them off. I know I get ticked off if somebody gives me a lowball offer. I don't even answer them. I just go, you're wasting my time. So if you really want that building, make the offer, then get the financials, look at it. You determine if you can make that building work. And if you can't, just don't remove conditions. You'll get your deposit back, and you can move on to the next building. A lot of people overanalyze and analyze and analyze and analyze. $7,000 on a multifamily? Suck it up. You know what? I can lose $7,000 by buying a vehicle too early, you know? Let it be a used vehicle. You know, $7,000 is not very much. I say just suck it up, make the offer, and then keep in mind it's still negotiable right up till the day you remove the conditions. So if at that time you think it's not worth that $7,000 more, then just walk away and go start looking. But you know, we've bought many deals where, you know what's the asking price? 110. You know what? I know that that's reasonable. Offer 110. You know, just like the one we made on offer the other day, 118, we offered 115. That's reasonable. What wasn't reasonable was trying to get us to close by December 2nd. It's November 2nd. That's a month. You can't get it done. So that's why I said, no, we know that. Why we waste our time? If you want that on your offer, somebody might write it down for you, and somebody might pay cash. We're not cash buyers. But if that's the case, bully for them, awesome position to be in to be able to pay cash for it. But not everybody is. That's why I told them, if you don't sell it in a month, come back and I'm making the same offer, because we can't close in a month. We know it takes longer than that to get financing. Heck, we know it takes longer than that to get refinancing when we already have numbers in place. So the guy's not being reasonable, and he might come back to us, we hope. Right, Logan? And if not, well, there's more deals out there. Like I said, we just had one fellow make an offer on 7.8, and I think I don't know, that's like 50 doors or something, all across Saskatchewan. So there's more out there. Hi Darwin, welcome. I'm glad to see you on here. Got to get you buying real estate. That's my brother, Darwin Dallin. He's got some good business stuff on the side too, but I still think he needs to get into some real estate. So weird, not much questions today. These are all questions from last week, everyone. So, please, if you have more questions, type them in. I'd love to hear them. And if not, you know what? It is 10:30, so I've been on for half an hour. Now, and I know a few of you that they came on a little bit late. So if you don't mind, I'm going to just talk a little bit again about what I talked about at the beginning. I was saying that I'm so excited because we're going to a mindset retreat, and it's in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and it's a 3-day mindset retreat. And I've always studied mindset. That's something I've been studying the longest. I think it's the biggest key to my success is mindset, because if you believe you can or believe you can't, you're right. And so I always am working on believing I can and believing bigger and bigger and bigger. And I found this lady online, and her name is Fabienne. And when I bought her course right away because it interested me, and I paid $1,000 US. And in taking some of her classes, one of the things that came up was over the last few years, she has spent $300,000 just on mindset training. And I went, wow, you know what? I don't know if I've ever taken a course where it's 100% on mindset training. It's always included. All the speakers and trainers include some on mindset because really your mindset has to be right to grow. And as you grow, you always have to keep expanding that mindset because things are coming up. Things, your old beliefs keep coming up even as you grow and expand and get bigger. And the only way to keep growing and keep getting bigger is by expanding your mindset. So 3 days, Fort Lauderdale. And the most exciting part is my husband's coming and 7 of my mastermind students are coming. I'm so excited about that because you know what? Mastermind is huge anyway because the vibration in that room when we're having our mastermind meetings, even when we meet online once a month, it's higher. It's higher all the time. It's so, you get so absorbed in positive thinking. Everybody's looking for solutions. No one's looking at just the problems. They're looking at solutions. And when you get a group of people like that together, it's so powerful. And we've got a group like that. They're absolutely amazing. They're doing great things. They're making offers. They're getting buildings. You watch these guys. They're all going to be financially free in 5 years. I have no doubt. And some of their dreams are pretty high. So being able to take 7 of them to this retreat with me, it just blows me away. I'm so excited to be able to share that with them. And some of them aren't in the financial position yet where they feel like this is a stretch to go. But the commitment that they've made to themselves, because you know what? It's not a commitment to anyone else. It's a commitment you make to yourself that you're going to spend that money on yourself. Because at some point in your life, you should decide, I'm worth it. I'm worth spending the money to travel to Fort Lauderdale for 3 days and get totally absorbed in mindset training. I'm worth it. I know I'm worth it. And I know it's been worth it. And it's paid off in spades for me many, many times over. So I'm excited to share that with you. I will be sharing what I've learned. I'm even hoping to do a couple Facebook Lives while I'm down there and actually share what I've learned during the sessions. Because you know what, when you're in the middle of something and you just hear something important, it's exciting for me to share that kind of stuff. So I see Corny. Oh, good morning, Corny. He's coming to Fort Lauderdale with us. We're so excited and he can't wait. So yeah, Corny and his brother actually, two brothers are coming to this mindset retreat with us. So I just can't wait. Like, these guys are already rocking it. They're doing so well with 32 units owned already and working on 133 units as we speak. And, you know, I can just imagine after this mindset training how their mind expands and how much quicker things will just move forward for them. So I'm really excited about that. So do we have any more questions here? I'm just going to check. No, looks like I've answered them all there. Facebook Live on the beach. Yeah, Corny, you'll have to help me with that. You can be one of the speakers, because you know what? I think the more of us that share, everybody has a different perspective, and it's all based on where you are at your life right now. So some people will be where I am and like my perspective, and some people will be able to relate to you better. So I think that's powerful. Gilly says, hi, we still connect. I agree. Mindset's very important. Thanks, Gilly. You know what? Mindset is number one. If you don't have the right mindset and all you can say to yourself is, I can't afford it, I can't do that, you're just arguing for your limitations. And so I challenge everyone this week, because I'm going to sign off here right away. Don't argue for your limitations. Argue for your greatness. Think about, you know, what's the absolute best case scenario here, and concentrate on that, and then make it happen. Because if you concentrate and keep working forward, you can only move forward, people. You won't move back. So I hope you liked the mindset stuff we talked about today, and I hope that the questions I answered from last week were helpful. And again, even if you don't get them out on time, the questions, feel free to type them out, because we do come back and look at the questions, and then we put them up for next time we're doing them. So have a really good weekend, and I look forward to getting to know some of you better. And if you do want to check out any of my training, just give me a second here, and I'm just going to point you out to something. So I've got a 3-video series. I'm not sure if all of you've had access to yet, but you can go to training.ednakeep.com, and there's some free training on there that really kind of gives you an idea of how the way we like to look at things. So I think you'll get some benefits out of that. And then, you know what, join our Facebook group, because we've got a Facebook group called 6-Figure Joint Venture Success, and we got a lot of really good real estate investors in there. So ask questions, get your questions answered. I'd love to see you do a video. What's the best takeaway you got from today? Even if you don't do a video, think of it yourself. What's the best takeaway I got today? Do I ask those questions? Why can't I afford it? Or should I be changing that to how can I afford it? So ask yourself that every day. One of the other things that I learned from Fabienne already, which I've incorporated, and I've got this little card by my sink in the bathroom, because you know what, how many times do you go to the bathroom in a day? Because I work at home, 5-6 times at least. And, every time I'm in there, I look at it. And one of the things that she said, to ask the universe every day, God, the universe, your higher power, whatever you think of, and say, universe, can you please give me a financial miracle today? And I've been asking that, and I'm blown away by the stuff that's coming to me. And I'm going to be sharing that over time. I don't want to take any more time today, but there's stuff happening. And you know what? Even when it's just my student success, I take that as a financial miracle. Yesterday, two of my students were in front of an investor, and teasingly at 2:00 in the morning, they text me and they go, Edna, we have been blown away by our meeting, and we've got something that nobody else has. And we want to share that with you. Can we call you right after our meeting tomorrow, or after work tomorrow? And I go, absolutely. And I go, hint, hint. What can you give me like something so I can go back to sleep here? And they said, well, Yeah, I'm kind of half dozing, half awake, and I get another ding, and it said, "Well, we can talk right now if you want." And I'm going, "Oh my God, it's 3 o'clock in the morning." No, let's wait till 6. I can wait that long. But you know what? I get so excited when I hear those kind of success stories from my people, and I consider that a financial miracle to myself because you know what? If my students are making money, to me, that's a financial miracle. I love it. So ask every day. Ask for that financial miracle and then watch for the opportunities that show up. Like I said earlier, it's not about the check that shows up in your mailbox, but it's about the opportunities that come your way. So you're going to hear about a few of those opportunities pretty soon. But I am going to sign off now. And I think somebody asked me what the link for the private Facebook. It's facebook.com/groups/six-figure JV success. And you know what? Great group to belong to. There's some movers and shakers in there. And introduce yourself. Let people know. Like Manoj, for example, you might want to let people know that you've got connections to people that are moving here all the time, people that are looking for businesses and stuff like that. Andy, I would talk about your rent to own program because you know what? You're not limited to the city that you're in. If you got a great rent to own program, you can work with people in our area too. Hi, TJ. Hey, that's my niece. Hey, TJ, I was just talking about you at breakfast this morning because my girls were saying, hey, what are we doing for Christmas this year? We don't know. Are we going somewhere? We're staying home. And I said, well, you know what? We're going to have a couple new babies to see. So I think we might be heading to Meadow Lake to see them. So is it this month you're due, TJ? I would love to hear that. I know that I have 3 nieces right now that are having babies like November, December, January or something like that. So we're so excited to have 3 brand new babies in the family. So very, very excited. So let me know. Anyway, I am going to sign off. I think I've went very long. We're at 10:41, so it's almost 45 minutes since I started. And I see there's still people joining, but hopefully you will go back and listen to this recording because I'm going to post it right away. And next week we're going to share from you. Hopefully, because no, next Friday we're on. Next Friday we're on here because we actually don't leave for Fort Lauderdale till Saturday. But we're going to do a couple Facebook Lives from Fort Lauderdale sharing our mindset techniques that we're learning. So I can't wait to share that with you. And please shoot out any questions you got and I'll get them answered for you. Thanks and have a great weekend, everyone.